All right, on this episode of Bowks Talking Bouts, big shout out to the sponsors, of course, Sovereign Extracts. You can check them out for some great CBD oils. They also have CBD cartridges, THC cartridges, some hybrid options as well. And a big shout out to USG Canada, putting out great apparel for boxers, MMA fighters, and for fans alike. We've got a big fight going, and it's happening at CFFC 85, and that is taking place on September the 18th. The CFFC interim welterweight championship going to be up for grabs when Bobby Lee and Michael Hill go at it. And I've got Michael Hill on the show right now. How's your day going so far there, man?
Good, man. Just jumping on the treadmill here, do a little last workout before I hit the travels out to Tennessee.
Yeah, and what's the travel dynamic going to be like, and just some of the regulatory measures with, like, I guess, like a COVID-minded fight week? Like, I imagine it's maybe a fair bit different than some past fight weeks that you've had there.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot different, and, I'm just kind of going cold turkey, man. I have no idea how it's going to be. I get different answers from a lot of people. I got a lot of UFC fighters that have been across the border. They're telling me one thing. Matt Dodge and CFC, they're telling me another thing, and so I'm just kind of, I'm praying to the gods, man, that everything works good and runs smooth, and I can get across the border easily and get on the flights nice and easy, and get to the hotel, get weighed in, and square off and get ready to fight.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And you mentioned Matt Dodge in there. I'm kind of curious, like, how long the Dodge Sports relationship has been going on there, because in the last few years, they've been really just making a name for themselves all throughout the MMA scene and whatnot. So, like, can you talk about, like, when things started getting going for that partnership with Dodge Sports there?
Yeah, probably around when the pandemic started, maybe a month into the pandemic. So I don't know, what are we, 6 months, 5? So maybe 5 months, 4 months. Long story short, I got asked to fight in UFC Vancouver, and a broadcaster named Aaron Bronster put me in touch with the UFC and said, "Hey man, this welterweight Mike Hill, he's the number one guy. You want him?" So a manager reached out to me. We talked. I wasn't ready to go then. Had a big injury that I just couldn't get in the cage, man. Anyways, so I reached back out to Aaron about, a year later, and just said, "Hey, Aaron, man, like I need some help here. What's going on with the pandemic? There's not going to be any fights in Canada for a long time. I'm not 23 years old anymore. I don't got much time to wait. I got to get this done now. I got to get fighting. Is there anyone that you could put me in touch with? Anyone that could help me, man?" And Aaron was like, "Yeah, there's this great guy, and his name's Matt from Dodge Sports. He's one of a kind. He's a rare breed. He's doing great things right now. Let me get in touch with him and see if he can. He'll reach out to you and talk to you." And Matt accepted that request, and me and Matt had a phone call, a day later, and it was a great phone call, man. I felt good energy right away, great chemistry. We had a lot of, many of the same values, and shared some laughs, and just said, we keep in touch, and I told him I'd be ready. And I think that there's a few things that I said to him that kind of sold him on me, but not sure, right? I mean, I'm sure there's tons and tons of athletes that are trying to get a hold of Matt and want to be part of Dodge Sports. So I knew it was a shot in the dark, but every month I reached out to him, and I was following him and his family and the Dodge Sports team, and I could see a couple of his guys and himself were kind of seeing the way I was doing things, and I'm always training hard. I'm always on social media, I know he heard a lot of good things about me as well, and so yeah, I just kept reaching out every month. Told him I was ready to go. One conversation, he said, "Well, how long do you need to fight?" And I said, "Well, ideally a month, 6 weeks would be great, but I'm ready to go right now. I'm ready to go tonight. If you called me tonight and said, we got to fight tomorrow, I'm ready to go, man. I don't care if it's, at heavyweight. I'm ready to go." And I think that really sparked him and gave me this shot, which was, maybe about a month after that conversation. So 10 days ago, Matt said, "Hey, we got a fight here for you. if you want it, it's against a UFC veteran and Bellator veteran named Nashawn Burrell. And do you want it? And I said, let's do it. And so we waited for the contract for about 24 hours. It didn't come, and I was kind of getting a little worried, a little nervous, And then when I got the text from Matt 24 hours later, I looked down and I had to blink in my eyes a couple times, and it was a different fight. It was for the welterweight interim title against Bobby Lee instead of Nashawn Burrell. So, I took this fight to be honest, but you know what I mean. It's amazing, man. It's it really goes to show what hard work does, and when you manifest your dreams, you'll be out forever, and you just keep working hard and be consistent. Good things happen, man.
Yeah, I love hearing just like how beneficial that relationship is, and just obviously, paying dividends for you. But you'd mentioned in there an injury that prevented you from being on that UFC Vancouver card there. Was this the same injury that had affected your ability to take that Fight Night 9 bout there? Because I noticed there was some talk about you fighting Chris Curtis in like the early part of 2019. Was that like the same kind of injury there?
Yeah, you bet, man. That was the same injury. That's what though. So I was ready to go, and 2 days before I was going to step on a plane to go fight Curtis there. You know what? It was I was just helping out at a little kids jiu-jitsu class with my buddy, and I went to go show Kimura, and just getting down to the ground and back up my back, I just heard a pop, pop, pop 3 times, and I couldn't get off the ground, man, for about 2 hours. And my buddies had to drive me home. I had a bath. I laid in bed in excruciating pain. Went to the hospital the next day, and just it went downhill from there, man. The MRI showed 4 herniated discs in my back. But they wanted surgery. They told me I would never fight again. My right leg went paralyzed. My left leg had that sciatic pain nerve. If anyone else has had sciatic pain, and I had drop foot, so my left foot was dragging. I couldn't move my foot up and down. I ended up becoming bedridden for about 3 months, man. And, that's quite the story itself, from doctors and therapists and getting me here right now today. But, man, quite the journey, dude. It had nothing to do with training. It had nothing to do with fighting. I truly believe that injury was fully on stress alone, as a man. Just being stressed mentally, having a heavy heart, a lot of weight on my shoulders from just kind of what I was going through in life. And then, being 12 years just fighting every day, man, I never took a break. 12 years, 6-7 days a week, training 2-3 times a day, fighting, training with the best guys, flying across the world, like The Rock, Dwayne Johnson said, man, you can be the healthiest person in the room. You can lift all the right supplements, eat the right food, see the best, doctors and all that kind of stuff. If you're not doing the work in your heart and you're not doing the work in your mind, you're going to drop dead. And, the universe is just saying, hey, man, sit down for a bit. There's some other things you got to take care of right now. And that was a big thing about, coming into fatherhood, which I was coming into. And man, that, the universe really did me well there, man. So I'm ready to get back in the cage. And, I just leveled up. I leveled up fucking huge. And yeah, man, now we're ready to go.
Yeah, well, I love hearing just how you were able to overcome, obviously, very trying circumstances there and stuff like that. So it seems like there's like a tremendous amount of utility from this time off that you've had from competition, just like revitalizing yourself physically, but also it seems like mentally and spiritually there's the same kind of revitalization as well.
Yeah, I've always been a martial artist. I mean, I think it took me my first 2 years being a fighter that, I was a fighter. I was raw, piss and vinegar, still going out, on weekends, that kind of stuff. But I was with a great team and a great coach, and it took me probably 2 years to really hone my craft as a martial artist. And once that came, my spiritual side was always there, right? But yeah, man, it was just another thing. Like I said, the universe was just giving me time, right? So put I don't like talking about it, but put it this way. I come from a hometown where you can't be a professional athlete. The only way in and the only way out is a ferry boat, 2 ferry boats, or a plane ride, right? So when you have a kid and you want to be a father, you know what I mean? That's the best job in the world, is being a father, man. And when you're trying to be a professional athlete, especially MMA, it's a little bit easier, but you can't be an NHL, NBA, MLB. You just couldn't do it. So if you're a single father coming where I come from, there's no chance you're going to be in your child's life. And so for me, I didn't know how to figure that route out. And the universe just sat me down, man, and it gave me time. The first 5 years of your child's life are the most important years, right? That child needs to feel you, hear you, see you, play with it, care for it, all that, man, everything. And the universe gave me that time, man. It gave me the most important time, and me and my daughter are, we're best friends. And yeah, man, now she knows it's time to go to war. I'm my biggest fan, man.
Yeah, you mentioned fatherhood. I noticed there was a big day recently on the social media, the first day of school there. How did everything go in that regard there?
Oh, she crushed it, man. She crushed it. Yeah, she, man, I just heard, she made both her mom and I very proud. And, I know the teachers there, and, some of the, it's a small town again, so some of the adults reached out, and they're just saying, you should be so proud of your little girl. Like, you've raised such a, strong, brave, beautiful, bold, kind, caring, loving little girl, She was, yeah, man, the first thing she did, she went onto the playground, supposedly, and she just yelled out, "Watch me," and she just crushed the monkey bars. And not many kids at 5 years old can crush those monkey bars, man. And so yeah, she's having fun. Yesterday was her first half day, so I think she goes this week all half days. And yeah, yesterday was, she calls me up, and it's funny how you can see their development, and so she's gained a lot of independence now. The first 2 days of school, and she's already got a little red she's met. So it's pretty funny, man. It's awesome. It's the best thing in the world, dude. It's hilarious. She's a little shy to tell me that she met a boy, and all that kind of stuff. And oh man, she's a beautiful, beautiful soul, man. And I didn't. Yeah, man. I got a very, very good gift, man. It's, she makes my life a lot better, a lot happier. I think I say that for every parent that has kids.
Yeah, for sure. And that seems like it's been a big motivating factor for a while and everything like that. And it just seems like you're in a really great place, like in the sense that you are really appreciating being a father, but it seems to also be translating into some great strides in the cage and whatnot. I mean, just with the last outing being when you capture that XFFC welterweight championship, which I was actually cage side for and doing some commentary for like some of the fights on the card and whatnot there. So what was that moment like, just like finally getting the belt around your waist? Like, it really seemed like a big, like, something coming to fruition after working for years and years kind of a moment. So like, what did that mean to you there?
Oh, it meant everything, man. Yeah. Just, put another, stamp on the legacy, man. And, for me, it just keeps leveling me up, man. It just keeps getting me to that next level, right? And putting a belt around my waist and finally being able to call myself a champion, that was a dream come true. That's what one of the things, small goals I set out in this journey was to become a champion. It took a little longer than I wanted it to, but you know what, man, when you really sit down in your head again and you're healthy and you kind of look back at everything, it makes everything come full circle. I mean, it took me 10 years exactly. And what did they say? What does everyone say? All the people we follow, all the athletes, all the role models, they say it takes 10 years. Everything takes 10 years. You want to work at something, want to be a master at something, it takes 10 years. And that belt took me 10 years, man. And just goes to show that, you know, you work hard at something, you focus at something, and, you know, eventually it'll happen, man. But yeah, it was, you know, I would have, again, I learned a lot from that fight as well, right? Like, you know, I had that guy beat in I think it was the second round or third round. You know, he quit. You know, we looked at each other and he was saying, man, I'm done. You know, stop. And, you know, the goodness of my soul and my heart was like, are you sure you're good? And he's like, yeah, I'm good. You know, and I celebrated. And I won that fight, and everything 10 years came flowing out of me, and I just felt, oh, victory, it's all gone. Oh, you know, all the intensity, all the energy, finally did it. Yes, I finished. And, you know, and then that got turned around. I mean, you know, his coaches started yelling, you know, he's not done, and the ref pulled him in, and, you know, that, you know, you could see it look across the mat's eyes, and it was just full of adrenaline and fire and piss and vinegar, and you know, he was trying to take my head off for the next 2 rounds, and here I was floating around on cloud 9, and I really had to pick myself up again and get those last 2 rounds in, man. So again, I learned 2 things, you know, and the main thing is, you know, when you got an animal hurt and injured, you got to kill him, right? And no more Mr. Nice Guy. And I think that's what I was battling a lot, you know, having a kid as well, which many, you know, fighters and fathers do, and I don't think they really talk about much, but, and especially a little girl. I don't know about having a little boy, but, you know, once you have a kid, you know, you step inside that cage, you know, potentially it is life or death, and that brings a little caution to the wind, and you don't like to see, you know, you don't want to hurt someone else that, you know, that's a father or, you know, is married or anything like that as well, but, you know, I just really had to dig deep and find out what I wanted and who I was. And, you know, like I said, it taught me one thing, man. Kill or be killed, and think about that, man. So, no more Mr. Nice Guy. No more Mr. Nice Guy, my man. I'm going in there and I'm finishing. If I got someone hurt, I'm finishing. That ref's got to fucking pull me off. That's it.
Yeah, I get the intensity for sure, man, and it seems like the laser focus is there. I imagine the preparations for this one were, you know, pretty strong as well. Like, are you still working with, like, some of the usual island MMA kind of suspects and whatnot there, or, like, who are you getting in work with ahead of this particular fight?
Yeah, so I'm very fortunate to have back home now. We have 2 kids that have been coming up the last couple of years, and Nicholas and Raphael Ouellette from Paul River BJJ. They're both champions right now, amateur champions. Ralph is the Rise FC champion, younger brother, and Nick is the BFL lightweight champion. And I've been around the, you know, world traveling. I mean, I started with Toshido MMA. You know, I come down to Vancouver, the best athletes, man, from every weight class. When I say, you know, I've trained with the best, these guys, you know, these guys are the real deal. So they've been keeping me sharp in Powell River. And then you the opportunity to come down to Victoria. My coaches, Jason Height and Stan Pederek, for the last 6 years, and the teammates down here, West Coast BJJ, Johnny Kutz. And, you know, like I said in an interview yesterday, I'm never the best one in the room. I never go to a gym. I never go to a training room that's going to put me in the best athlete in the room. And I never go to an MMA class. I'm always going to find boxers in boxing, the best boxers, kickboxing, going to jiu-jitsu, no gi and gi, to find the best specialists on the ground. Right? I'm never the best in the room. I'm always getting my ass kicked. And I got a good group of, I got a good squad behind me, man, that's just always keeping me sharp and always whooping my ass, man. And then when it comes to, you know, fight week and stepping in the cage, I'm a whole different animal. Very rare breed to walk that walk and, you know, and level up inside the cage. You know, a lot of guys can walk the walk and step in the cage, but they're not the same person as they are in the training room. Right? They don't have that mentality. They don't have that confidence going in. And that's one of my best weapons.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a stellar attribute to have, being able to replicate the key moments in the gym, like when you're actually out there competing. But I'm kind of curious, like, what your familiarity level is with your opponent heading into this fight here. Like, they've got a similar level of experience, LFA vet. Seems like they've got multiple subs, a couple striking based finishes to their credit. Have you gotten to see any kind of tape on your opponent at all, or anything of that sort?
No tape. Usually I'll watch tape during a weight cut. Miserable, right? So I don't watch no tape. I get my coaches and I get all my buddies to watch all the tape, and same thing, man. I pick the kickboxer to watch. I pick a couple jiu-jitsu guys to watch down the line. And they give words, and I just kind of see, and then I just play with that during fight week and the week, of before I travel. And so, no, I haven't watched any video on Bobby yet. When I first checked out his record, and I seen right away there was a win-loss, and then I kind of looked down. I looked down to see if he has anyone, and the only guy I recognized was DeMarcus Johnson. Now, I don't know if I do know that he fought my teammate Matt Dwyer, and it's a pretty big war. So he lost to him, I think, or I'm not sure, but. Anyways, that's all I know, man. For me, it doesn't matter who it is, especially this fight right now, man. It could be the best welterweight in the world, and I'm going to accept that fight. And he's got to put up with a fucking animal who's been locked up for 2 years, envisioning the next time he steps in a cage and the door locks and the ref says go. Doesn't matter who it is, man. I'm better than Bobby everywhere. And so he can take the fight wherever he wants, and I'm just going to showcase my skill set. And like I said, man, I'm just going to be a different animal in there, I feel.
Yeah, well, this is a fight I'm really excited for. Every fight that I've gotten to see of yours, being live in Grand Prairie and just in general throughout your career, it's always delivered in a big way. So I think a lot of people are going to be excited to see this one here. But I want to be mindful of your time, man, because you've been good with letting me speak to you a little bit. Is there anything you'd like to sort of add as a parting thought as we're kind of wrapping up here, though, Michael?
Not much, man. I just hope that everyone tunes in Friday, September 18th. They get that UFC Fight Pass, and I'm just excited to be back on the circuit, man. I'm excited to do what I do, and if anybody else out there is going through a hard time, which we all kind of are right now in this world, just keep your head up, keep going forward, keep moving, 1% better every day, and just stay healthy, man. Eating clean, getting some exercise has a whole lot of good for your mind. Shout out to, my little cubs back home, Blythe, my daughter, my nephews Holden and Theo, my little niece Nia, my girlfriend Amelia, my family, and my teammates PRBJJ, all the guys down here in Victoria Island MMA, Stan Pederix Kickboxing, West Coast BJJ, and my sponsors, Westward Coastal Home, and hit River City, much love. And back-to-back Cairo, who takes care of me, my whole back injury. So much love for you guys, Julia and Dave. Man, and tune in. Thank you, everyone. The Mercenary is back.
Great note to end things off on, and like you said, UFC Fight Pass is where people can check that out. It's going down on Friday, September the 18th. Bobby Lee and Michael Hill vying for that CFFC interim welterweight championship. Thanks for all the great insights and the time, man. Best of luck with the remaining part of your preparations leading to this fight here, and just have a good rest of your day too.
Thank you, man. One more thing, Mom, I love you. Thank you so much for having me in your home during this pandemic to come down and train. A lot of people would do that, man. A lot of people are weird with some people going to the gyms and a lot of germs going around right now. So, not having a doubt in her mind about her boy shining. Mama, I love you. Thank you so much.
Always good to get the shout out in for Mom. I appreciate that. And just thanks for the time and have a good one, man.
All right, man. Peace out, brother.